As a Catholic who's been divorced and received an annulment, let's clear up the misconceptions about all of it. First, a divorce is a legal thing. It's handled by the courts and ends the civil recognition of your marriage in the eyes of the state. In the Catholic Church, we don't believe civil divorce can end a valid sacramental marriage, and that's where an annulment comes in. An annulment is not the church erasing your marriage, pretending that you never loved the person, or saying that your kids are somehow illegitimate. It's a formal declaration that a valid sacramental marriage never actually took place because something essential for the sacrament was missing from the very beginning. For a marriage to be valid in the Catholic Church, you need a few non-negotiables. Both people have to be free to marry. Both must give full, informed, and free consent. Both must understand what marriage actually is, which is a permanent, exclusive, and open-to-life covenant. And both must have the capacity emotionally and psychologically to live out all of those vows. If one or more of those things is missing, even if you didn't realize it at the time, the sacrament actually never took place.
Okay, so the problem with what Sister Anna is saying here is it's not in the Bible and it's not what Paul commanded. So go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 concerning married life. You can scroll through this. There's a few different scenarios Paul talks about, but let me just tell you this, and he's saying this is from the Lord. I highlighted it here, verse 10. To the married I give this command, not I, but the Lord. So the Lord is speaking here. A wife must not separate from her husband. If she does, she must remain unmarried or else be reconciled to her husband. And a husband must not divorce his wife. Verse 13. If a woman has a husband who is not a believer and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him. And lastly, if you go all the way to the end of the chapter, verse 39, a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. But if her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes, but he must belong to the Lord. So there's a couple examples that are given here. This first example up top here is if you were already married and then you became a believer, but maybe your spouse didn't become a believer, God still recognizes that marriage in his sight, even though it wasn't performed under Christianity, even though it wasn't performed in a church. We're talking about pagan unbelievers here, ungodly practices. God still recognizes it. So the Catholic Church cannot supersede what Paul said, that the Lord said right here. It's as simple as verse 10. To the married, I give this command, not I, but the Lord. If Paul was a pope, he would be speaking ex cathedra right now. A wife must not separate from her husband. If she does, she must remain unmarried or else be reconciled to her husband. There is no room for annulment. There is no room for special circumstances, just the plain text reading.